Just look at the board. These are just some recapitulation for the properties of determinants which we discussed in the last class. And in this 32nd point, we are going to discuss some A, B, C, some sensor bits where we will generate some more ideas related to the properties of determinants. And now, just think about the first problem. See, for this first, we need to find the determinant. The first column is 7, 13, 29, whereas the second column is minus 7, minus 13 and minus 29. So, see, there is a chance if we have a common term, common multiple for any row or any column to write it out. Since minus is there for each and every number of the second column, so just write that minus out. If you write that minus out, then you will get minus of the remaining values. And this 7, 13, 29, and if this minus is not there here, again 7, 13, 29. That means two columns are same. As we discussed, if any two rows or any two columns are equal in a matrix, then its determinant value is 0. So minus 0 is simply nothing but 0. So the answer for this problem is 0. Okay, just have a look. That's the answer for the first problem. Whereas coming for the second one, so this is determinant of A, B, C, 2D, 2E, 2F, G, H, I. Here again the second row contains 2 as a common multiple. So there is a chance to write the 2 out. So here we can write it 2 into determinant of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So this is the numerator. Whereas if you think about the denominator, 3 is common for the first row, 4 is common for the third row. So there is a chance to write 3 out from the first row, 4 out from the third row. Then this is equals to 3 into 4. Common, just you pick out 3 from the first row, pick out 4 from the third row. So 3 into 4 of what you have? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. This is the determinant. At the end, these two values get cancelled, and 2 by 3 into 4, 2 by 12, and your answer is 1 by 6. There ends the problem. Right? And now, just you think about this determinant of 4A by determinant of A, where A is a 3 by 3 matrix. Determinant of 4A, for some time just leave about the determinant, think about 4A. 4A means we are multiplying every element of the matrix with 4. Since we are multiplying every element of the matrix with 4, so every element of the first row contains 4 as a common number, every element of the second row contains 4 as a common number, and every element of third row contains 4 as a common number. So we have a chance to pick out, while finding determinant, 4 out of the first row, 4 out of the second row, 4 out of the third row. So then this determinant of 4A is simply nothing but 4 to the power order of the matrix 4 cube into determinant of A divided by determinant of A is already given. And if you cancel out that determinant of A, your answer for this problem is 64. Just have a look. As we mentioned you in the last class, determinant of Ka is simply nothing but K power n into determinant of A. Just we are using that particular logic in the numerator to find it. Okay. Now, just have a look at the last problem. See, we need to find sum of these two determinants. To find sum of these two determinants, if you have a look at these two, the second row is same for the two determinants. The third row is also same for the two determinants. As we discussed in the fifth property of determinants, if two rows are same or if two columns are same for two determinants, just to directly add the other row. Okay. So here, since these two rows are equal, the resultant determinant again contains second row as the same 17, 19, 27 and third row as the same 8, 11 and 17. But what about the first row? And you need to think about the first row, which is just simply nothing but the sum of the corresponding elements. Here it is 3 and there it is 5. 3 plus 5 and then 4, there it is 7. So 4 plus 7. After that here it is 5 and then that is 12. Now, so this determinant value is equals to the sum of those two determinants. Now it is enough to find its value. Now just to observe it, here 3 plus 5 is 8 and this is 8. 4 plus 7 is 11 and this is 11. 5 plus 12 is 17 and this is 17. So third row and first row are same and that's why its determinant value is again 0. Okay, so this is the simple way to calculate the determinant values without going with the traditional procedure, moving with the traditional procedure. We can move with the properties of determinants. Okay, all these properties just we discussed in the last class, and now in this 32 we are going to generate some more ideas based on those properties of determinants. Just have a look. So the determinant of the given matrix A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I is delta. Then we need to find its determinant. As we discussed in the properties of determinants, maybe the fifth property. See, since these two based on the second row and third row, there is a chance to split this first row. So I have a chance to write it like this. How I can write? See, the first row, first elements are like this A, B, C. So here I will take A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Plus, and the other part of the first row is D, E, F. So D, E, F, D, E, F, G, H, I. And just have a look. This first determinant value is the same delta, whereas this second determinant value is 0, and the delta plus 0 is again what? Delta. So if the determinant of the given matrix is delta, then this matrix is also of the value delta only. Okay, just observe how the elements of the matrix are determinant are changed. See, if these are the individual elements, then whereas coming for this particular matrix, just we are adding first row with the second row. If you add first row with the second row and we replace the first row, still we are getting the same delta. See, all these things which are very helpful in finding the other determinants, and that's why we are specifically mentioning it. Okay, and then I will give you one more problem. Just have a look. See, for suppose if you have the determinant of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I as delta, you just keep in mind. Okay, and after that what I am going to find, see, I will erase it, but you just use this determinant of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I is equals to delta, right? Okay, if that is delta, then I need to find the determinant of, okay, LA plus MB minus NC, not like okay, LA, oh, no problem, LA plus MD minus NG, LB plus ME minus NH, LC MF minus NI, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, that's what we need to find. Just have a look. We need to find the determinant of this. Just as we discussed in the previous cases, based on this second row and third row, now we have a chance to split the first row to find the determinants. So how can we split? See, I will split it like this. This is equals to determinant of LA, LB, LC. The second row is same as DEF and third row is same as GHI. Okay, plus the next task MD, ME, MF. The second row is same DEF and the third row is same GHI, minus the next thing. What are the next elements? Or you may take it as plus or no problem. Since it is minus, directly I am writing minus out. Then you have this NG, NH, NI in the first row and DEF in the second row, GHI in the third row. Yeah, now again you just think about it. Here for the determinant here, see, L is a common number for each and every element of the first row. If a common element is common number, common thing is there for any row or for any column, there you have a chance to write it out. Here LA, LB, LC. So you just write that L out. So this is equals to L times the determinant of the remaining what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, plus here again M is a common thing. You just write that M out. So M times of the determinant DEF, DEF, GHI. And then for the last, again N is a common thing for every element of the first row. Write N out, N times GHI, DEF, GHI. That's the part. Now you just think about it. Clearly this determinant of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I is just delta as we mentioned. So this is equals to L times of the delta, and this determinant value is 0 because the first row and second row are same, and this determinant value is again 0 because the first row and third row are same. So directly its answer is just what? L delta. Just have a look. This determinant is directly equivalent with L delta. First have a look, go for a screenshot, and then I will analyze it. Just as we discussed now, if the determinant of this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I is delta, then this determinant is L delta. Okay, so you just pay attention on the answers, delta and L delta, as well as on the elements of the determinant. So how the elements are changed in these two determinants. See, the second row and third row are same, but whereas coming to the first row is a linear combinations of each row. Because see, first row is ABC, you just multiply that first row with some constant, say L, and then multiply the second row with some other constant, say M, and then multiply third row with some other constant, say M or minus N. So if you add all these things and you need to replace it any one of the row, not only in the first row, okay, here in particular I replaced in the first row, and you have a chance to replace these three elements maybe in the second row or maybe in the third row. You just replace anywhere, but always you will get the same answer, right? See, you just think about it. So if there is a chance to replace any row with the linear combinations of the elements of the other three rows, okay, so all these we call usually as row transformations or column transformations. The next point, specifically I am going to give you that row transformations and column transformations, okay. And before going to that row transformations and column transformations, you need to have a good idea. You need to make a difference maintain a difference between the matrix and the determinant, okay. For suppose I have a matrix like this A, B, C, D, okay, and I have a determinant A, B, C, D. You just note these things, okay. So how we need to do the constant multiplication for the matrix as well as for the determinant. For suppose if you are going to multiply this matrix with K as well as this determinant with K, what is the result? If you multiply this matrix with K, then the result is simply Ka, Kb, Kc, Kd. Since you are multiplying matrix with K, you need to multiply every element of that matrix with K. But whereas if you are multiplying a determinant with K, then no need to multiply every element, okay. So this is equals to just you multiply any row like Ka, Kb, Cd, or you may multiply with second row also Ab, Kc, Kd, or you may multiply with the first column also Ka, Kc, Bd, or you may multiply with the second column also. So multiplication of a matrix with a constant, just it changes any one row or one column, but whereas multiplication of a matrix with a constant K, it gets multiplied with every element of the matrix. For the determinant only one row or column, whereas for the matrix every element, okay, while multiplying with the constant. This is one thing which you need to maintain good good idea related to this. And one more thing is addition and subtraction also, okay. I will give you the next idea, okay, fine. For suppose I have two matrices as well as two determinants, how to add, just have a look at this. For suppose I have a matrix, you may say A, B, C, D, and another matrix, you may say it as some X, Y, C, D, okay. What is its answer? As well as I have a determinant, you may say it as A, B, C, D plus another determinant X, Y, C, D. So how to add those two and how to add these two. This is the addition of matrices, whereas this is the addition of determinants. While adding matrices, that addition is possible element wise, okay. Just for my comfort I am taking 2 by 2 matrices. Similar type of discussion is possible for 3 by 3 also. If you are going to add these two, addition of matrices is element wise, you just add element wise. First element is A, first element is X, so here it is A plus X, and B, here it is B, Y, so you take it as B plus Y. C and then C, you need to take 2C. D and D, just take it as 2D. So this is the addition of these two matrices. But whereas coming to the addition of determinants, okay, so we need to add, first of all we need to check whether there is any common row or not. Here there is a common row. Since there is a common row, you just add that the remaining. See, unequal row, okay, only one unequal row. A plus X, B plus Y, C, D, and this is what? The sum of determinants. There is a slight difference between the sum of the differences between sum of determinants as well as sum of matrices, and there is a slight difference between the scalar multiplication of matrix as well as scalar multiplication of determinant, and similarly there is a slight difference between the multiplication of determinants as well as multiplication of matrices also, but I will handle that multiplication of determinants in some other point, not now. Okay, right. So this is something about the addition. Whereas for suppose if I have a matrix like this, A, B, C, D plus another matrix P, Q, R, S. What you say about the addition of these two matrices? See, A, B, C, D, P, Q, R, S. While adding, you just go with element wise. A plus B, B plus Q, C plus R, D plus S is the addition of matrices. But whereas if you have determinants like this, A, B, C, D is one determinant plus P, Q, R, S is another determinant. How to add? See, to add we need to search for any column, common row or for any common column. Here these two determinants don't have common row and don't have common column. So direct adding, see, direct adding and writing it as another determinant is not possible. Individually you just calculate the value of the first determinant and then calculate the value of second determinant and you just add those numbers. But there is no direct representation of these two as again another determinant. Okay, such representation is not possible because here these two don't have any common row and common column. Okay, you need to make that difference between the matrices and determinants in your minds. Okay, and that idea, that clarity will give you much confidence in solving the problems. Okay, just have a look first. Okay, just have a look. So just we discuss different properties related to the determinants in 31 and 32, and now we are going to convert all those properties as a transformations or operations on rows and columns. Okay, just that is simply nothing but, for suppose if I have a determinant, I will say it as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, right, I need to find this determinant value. For suppose for some reason I need to interchange any two rows or any two columns, then in that case first of all you need to choose two rows which you want to interchange. For suppose if I am going to interchange R1 and R3, I will write it like this: R1 interchange it to R3. Then in this case, this actually we need to find the determinant of this value, but we are applying this row transformation, this row operation. Okay, with this row transformation, this determinant is affected by minus sign. Already we know that. So this is equivalent with, or you may use equal to sign, no problem. With this particular row transformation, this determinant value is equals to, we are interchanging first row and third row. You just don't disturb this second row and write third row in the place of first row and first row in the place of third row, and because of this row transformation, this determinant is affected by minus sign. You just write that minus sign again. So this is equals to this because of this row transformation. All these things we need to analyze. Okay, right. Not only row transformation, you may go with the column transformation also. For suppose if I have a matrix like this, you may say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And for suppose if I multiply any column with, you just multiply column 2 with K. Replace column 2 with K times of column 2. That in the sense, the first, you just don't disturb the first column. Write like A, D, G. Don't disturb the third column like C, F, I. And what you need to do? You need to multiply the second column with K. So what it happens? K, B, K, E, K, H. Just have a look. See, now these two are equal, right? No, because this there is a chance to write this K out. If you write this K out, this is K times of the determinant. But we need to find this determinant value. To make balance of these two, I will write it like this: 1 by K times of. So if you replace any column or any row with some constant times of the same row or same column. Once again I am repeating you, you are going to replace any row or any column with constant times, some k times of that same row and same column as per the requirement, and then in that case the determinant is just affected by k times. Since the determinant is affected by k times, to balance it you need to multiply with 1 by k. Okay, all this happens just because of the properties of determinants. So here in this case we use this type of transformation. Here in this case we use this type of transformation. Just have a look. Okay, just think about it. Okay, see, if I have a determinant a, b, c, d, e, f, g, h, I, if my transformation is changing r2 as r2 plus r3, the next step is actually we are just changing r2. So don't disturb first row as well as third row. But why? Because we are just changing what? The second row, right? And that's why you just write the first row as usual. Okay. Then second row is we are changing, just keep aside for some time, and then write the third row also in the same line, g, h, I. And now you need to fill the second row. How can we fill? We need to fill in such a way that R2 is just, we need to replace R2, the elements of R2 with R2 plus R3. Here the first element is D, but we need to replace that D with the sum of these two, D plus G. Yeah, and then the second element E, we need to replace with the sum of these two, E plus H. And we need to replace this F with this I, see, with the sum of those two, then F plus I. So with this transformation, this is our determinant. Okay, this is our determinant. Then by the properties of determinants, we need to analyze the determinant values of this new form determinant as well as the given determinant, whether they are equal or not. If there is any difference, how the newly formed determinant is affected by this row transformation when compared with the old determinant, that's what we need to analyze. See, just as we discussed in the fifth property of the determinant, this determinant value is simply equal to the given determinant. Okay, if you have any doubt, just split this determinant into two other determinants based on these sum of the values. So in that case you will get the same determinant, and that's why this determinant is directly equals to this determinant. So these type of transformations won't make any effect on the determinant value, and that's why easily we will use these type of transformations. Here you may use subtraction also, minus also, then that transformation also won't affect that. See, we know it all these things because of the properties of determinants, and we use all these things to solve the problems. Okay, just I am mentioning here the way of transformation, and we use it while solving the problems. Okay, I will give you one more idea. Just have a look. For suppose if this is the determinant a, b, c, d, e, f, g, h, I. Okay, T. And now my transformation is, yeah, replace column 1 with column 1 plus column 2 plus column 3. Just think about it. Replace column 1 with column 1 plus column 2 plus column 3. Then the newly formed determinant is simply nothing but, see, just now we are replacing column 1. So don't disturb column 2 and column 3. Okay, everything what we are doing is true both for rows and columns. Okay, one property I am giving you through rows, and another property I am giving you through columns. But you need to understand that every work, every transformation is possible along with rows as well as along with columns also. Now here just you think about it. I am just changing the first column. So you just don't disturb the second column and don't disturb the third column. Just write as usual. The second column is BEH, right? BEH, okay. And the third column is what? CFI, okay. You just don't disturb these two columns. And now you need to replace the first column. How to replace? You need to replace in such a way that these three elements are the sum of the three elements. The elements in column 1, column 2, column 3 you need to add. So A, B, C. So here you need to take A plus B plus C. And here you need to take D plus E plus F. And here you need to take G plus H plus I. And this is one column transformation. And by this column transformation, the newly formed matrix is this. And now you need to think about it. What to say about the determinant values of these two? Yeah, see, it is very clear that if you split this determinant in three other matrices as we discussed in 32nd one, that this determinant value is directly equal to the same matrix. So again this row transformation won't affect the determinant value, and that's why this determinant value is equals to that determinant value. But sometimes to calculate it easily, if it is given, we need to view it in this case. And then sometimes if the problem is given like this, we need to view it like this. So viewing one determinant as other is possible just through these type of column transformations as well as row transformations. Once again, you just think about it. If you are going to change the first column, the transformation effect must be there on column 1, okay? Column 1 along with some other columns, okay? If you are going to change the second row, the transformation must be based on second row along with some other rows, okay? But you can't go with these type of transformations, okay? I will give you one idea. Just have a look. For suppose I have the matrix like this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. As I discussed you in some C bit, we are changing R2 goes to R2 plus R3, and this is a correct transformation. But you can't write R2 goes to R1 plus R3. See what will happen if R2 changes to or R2 goes to R1 plus R3? We need to replace R2 with the elements of R1 and R3. We need to replace second row with the elements of first row and third row. First row won't change, third row won't change. Ultimately, this DEF won't appear in the newly formed matrix, and that's why its determinant value is affected. So at the end, what I am concluding is, while writing the transformations, if you are changing R2, the change must include along with R2. If you are changing R2, the change can't go without that R2. Okay, this is a wrong transformation, whereas this is a right transformation. So if you solve some problems, it gives you much confidence in solving the problems. Okay, just have a look, and then I will handle some problems maybe in some other class. Okay.